What if I tell you, your thoughts are not really yours? Your fears, your habits, your attraction, your failures, all of them were planted inside you. Before you even knew who you were, you think you are choosing. But your mind is only following old commands. Your conscious mind believes it, is in control, but the real ruler is hidden. Your subconscious. It remembers every insult, every rejection, every moment you felt small, every time you were afraid, and it never forgets. It runs silently, controlling your reactions, shaping your destiny, deciding who you become. The scary part is not its power. The scary part is who programmed it. Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe, because the mind you are about to understand is the same mind that has been controlling your life. Now let us get back to the mind itself, the hidden system that has been running your life silently, before you were even aware of it. The subconscious mind does not speak in words. It speaks in emotions, in images, in sensations, in reactions. It does not think. It does not question. It only accepts and executes. And once a belief is accepted by the subconscious, it becomes reality. Not because it is true, but because it is familiar. This is why people repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same type of relationships, get stuck in the same emotional loops, and call it destiny, when in reality, it is programming. Your subconscious was formed when you were most open, most defenseless, most trusting. In childhood, every tone of voice, every expression of love or rejection, every moment of fear or safety, was recorded not as memory, but as instruction. The child mind does not ask, is this right or wrong? It only asks, is this safe or dangerous? So if love came with control, the mind learned that control is love. If attention came with pain, the mind learned that pain is normal. If silence came with abandonment, the mind learned that closeness is temporary. These emotional equations stay hidden, but they direct your adult choices. You do not choose partners. You recognize patterns. You do not choose fears. You activate memories. You do not choose reactions. They are triggered automatically. This is the dark truth of the subconscious. It is not logical. It is not moral. It is not wise. It is loyal to the first emotional programs it received. That is why toxic relationships feel magnetic, why chaos feels exciting, why calm feels empty, why peace feels boring, why success feels uncomfortable. Because the subconscious is not designed for happiness. It is designed for survival. And survival means familiarity. The mind would rather relive known pain than face unknown peace. This is also how manipulation works. The subconscious does not respond to facts. It responds to emotion and repetition. Fear repeated becomes belief. Authority repeated becomes truth. Emotion repeated becomes identity. This is why propaganda works, why cults work, why emotional abuse works, why advertising works, why mass psychology works. The conscious mind thinks it is deciding, but the subconscious has already accepted. By the time logic arrives, the decision is already made. The subconscious is the silent gatekeeper of attraction, of trust, of danger, of desire, of identity. And once something passes that gate, it becomes part of you. This is why people sabotage themselves, not because they are lazy, not because they are weak, but because their subconscious is protecting them from a danger that no longer exists. Success once meant pressure, so the mind avoids it. Visibility once meant judgment, so the mind hides. Love once meant loss, so the mind keeps distance. Power once meant punishment, so the mind stays small. The body moves forward, but the subconscious pulls backward, and the person calls it fear, or lack of motivation, or bad luck. But it is protection, outdated protection. The moment you become dangerous is the moment you become aware. When you start seeing your reactions, not as personality, but as programming. When you start questioning your fears, not as intuition, but as emotional memory. When you realize that the voice in your head is not always truth, but often repetition. At that moment, you stop being the product and start becoming the observer, and the observer is the only one who can rewrite the program. The subconscious learns through repetition, through emotional intensity, through imagination, through association. That is how it was conditioned, and that is how it can be reconditioned, not by force, not by willpower, but by consistent emotional experience. When safety is repeated, the nervous system softens. When confidence is repeated, the identity shifts. When self-trust is repeated, the internal authority changes, slowly, silently, deeply. The old programs lose power, not because they are erased, but because they are no longer needed. And the final dark truth is this: your life is not controlled by what you want. It is controlled by what your subconscious believes is safe. Change what feels safe, and you change what feels possible. And when the subconscious finally serves you, instead of protecting the past, you do not become fearless. You become free.